guys right now.
Get a medic.
Grab these two guys right now.
You walking up on me? I'm gonna grab.
That is from Buffalo, as you guys have hopefully seen in the past, when Buffalo cops shoved that elderly gentleman, smashed his head on the concrete, and he continues to bleed there. Well, the update now is those cops are not gonna be charged, or they've gotten away with it, or charges have been dropped. Everything that you could be released of any responsibility has happened for these two officers. Let's look at them here. It is Robert McCabe and Aaron Torgalski. They pushed that 75-year-old man, his name is Martin Gugino, to the ground. And that was in the summer of 2020. He was bleeding from his ears. He spent a month in the hospital with head injuries, brain issues, and all that type of stuff. So in deciding whether or not that they didn't have any issue here, an official arbitrator said this: upon review, there is no evidence to sustain any claim that police had any other viable options other than to move Gugino out of the way of their forward movement, and reflected no intent on their part to do more than to move him away from them. The attorney for Gugino said, "We are not aware of any case where this arbitrator has ruled against on-duty police officers. So his ruling here on behalf of the police was not only expected by us, but was certainly expected by the union and the city who selected and paid him," putting them on blast. And also, after it did go down, because I had forgotten this, but let's remember what the police did say happened when that shoving attempt that apparently was okay because they need to move him out of the way. This is what they said actually happened. During a skirmish involving protesters, one person was injured when he tripped and fell. So he tripped and fell first, then he was shoved, but rightfully shoved, bled out of his head, rightfully bleeding out of his head, rightfully spent a month in the hospital. All those things happened okay, but for some reason the police didn't think that at first, David.
This is sickening. I mean, what? There's so many different ways. Even if you accept the argument that this guy was standing in the way and the police had a right to move him, well, you move him by, I don't know, taking his hand, grabbing him, picking him up, physically moving him that way. You don't shove somebody backwards in the way they did. That was a violent assault. And granted, there are arbitrators out there who are bought and paid for by police unions and bought and paid for by various corporations, and that's the danger with arbitration. But I just hope that this guy now brings a civil lawsuit, because I think any jury that looks at this is gonna say that these cops had no business doing what they did, and that they are liable for this man's suffering and damages. And so eventually the city of Buffalo is gonna have to pay out one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, citizens can't stand there and yell at cops or not like what they're doing. But the cops, which by the way, the cop that particularly shoved him wasn't on the front lines there. He saw an opportunity and he took that opportunity to shove this guy. And I hope and by the way, the others that saw it, they were disturbed by it, but the rest of them said, "Move on, stop, no, let him die."